welcome to another episode of Late Night Lockdown with me, your host, Nick Gibbons. That's right, we are doing it again. I hope you guys are staying safe and having a good week. But right now, there is no safe place to hide from these jokes. I saw that deaf Americans are insisting that they have a sign language interpreter at all of the president's corona briefings because they deserve to be lied to, deceived, and embarrassed by their president just as much as anyone else. I saw that Val Kilmer has claimed that a dark angel resembling Darth Vader reached into his chest and removed his heart and replaced it with a larger one. To which the Grinch was quick to point out it still wasn't as big as him and to try harder next time, Batman. I saw that in an unprecedented move, the NFL is changing the name of fantasy football to regular football and changing the name of regular football into imagination ball. Guess you gotta roll with the times, I suppose. I saw that the Insane Clown Posse is canceling their Gathering of the Juggalos this year, proving once again that even a bunch of clowns are better at protecting Americans than the president. All right, guys, we have a great show lined up for you this time. My guest is wonderful. He's sitting right over there. You know him as Satan from Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell. I know him as Matt Servitto. Let's go merge these two things together. Over here. Let's go together. All right, guys, here we are in the seated talking down area. It's time for an interview with my buddy Matt Servitto. How are you doing, Mr. Servitto?
Try to keep your voice down. I am hiding from the rest of the family.
Yes.
I'm down in the bunker, or the basement, I guess, as it was called pre-corona.
It does look like you're in some sort of a shelter if there were a bomb attack going on right now.
Which is sort of what everything is like upstairs. Yes. It's a little bit like Armageddon on a daily basis, that we sort of all get tired out and fall asleep every night and then wake up and do it all over again. But the end of each day feels like the end of the world. 3 smelly teenagers upstairs.
Is it like, you know, in the cartoons when there was a big fight, you just see a cloud of smoke and arms and legs sticking out of it? Is that your house pretty much all day and then you fall asleep?
Or like kind of like Wile E. Coyote and the sheepdog, you know, just sort of like beating each other up all day, and then we just kind of punch the clock at the end of the day like, okay, night John Boy, night Mary Ellen.
You got to keep going, or, you know, I don't know what the other option would be.
Yeah, the homeschooling thing's not, I mean, thank God, you know, they're not asking much of me because they know that's a joke. They're not going to embarrass me by asking me 8th grade math because they know, you know, there's a reason I'm an actor. And that's both my wife and I. We both, you know, she's musical theater, I went theater, and so between the two of us, we can't even figure out, you know, any of these math problems. We're both pretty good with history and English, but that gets you in a basement talking to Nick.
I think if you're in a basement talking to Nick, you've made some pretty good life choices, honestly.
I'm just wondering how I got here. Like, in what world am I, like, down in my basement hiding? Talking to Nick Gibbons on a device, a Skype device of this magical world, Flash Gordon that we live in. And
I've given you an excuse to get in the basement for a bit. I think you should be thanking me.
But as the guys on Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell know, I always say there are just too many days when I'm shooting that show. A, it's the most fun I've ever had, but B, there isn't but at least one time a day that I don't sort of say, is this really how my sort of refined, Juilliard-educated career with years in the theater, studying in England, has brought me to a soundstage near the Atlanta airport wearing red makeup, trying to keep up with demented improv from these schools.
Well, I will say your acting chops do elevate the show to a higher level, so to speak. So it's a good thing you're there.
It doesn't require acting chops. That's the crazy thing. I feel like it. You know, I really feel like I bring it down when I try to memorize the lines or have a character or bring some craft. It's like, yeah, not necessary. It's really, that's above your pay grade, Servitto.
You serve a good purpose there, and I've been on set several times and witnessed this. You wrangle everyone together and you keep them in check. You're like, listen, kids, this is a job. We got to keep our heads in the game.
That's strictly because I want to finish the day, get to drinking. But yeah, the editor refers to me as kind of the tent pole, like in the whole thing, because as he says, if I didn't have you just standing there saying the lines and not moving, I could never edit the show, because you've got to have something as an editor you can keep like if Henry's all over the place, at least if you're standing still,
Yeah.
I can cut it to you and then go back out to Henry. So I like my position as the tent pole. I'm like, I'll take it. Give me a cup of coffee, give me a few lines, and just stand there.
I can't imagine being a regular on that show and the amount of brutality y'all have to go through on a daily basis. Just with the makeup alone, I've watched Shane spray paint you. It's like a graffiti artist in there, just spray painting people red all day. It's insane.
I think it's harder to job in on our show. I feel like to guest on our show is really hard because we're kind of used to it. We're just numb to the whole experience because it's just god awful. Getting there early in the morning and getting, as you said, like put through the car wash, the red spray paint and the black spray paint and the hair pieces and the horns and the claws and the hooves and then getting thrown in front of a camera and saying be funny, and it's like 7:45. So I feel like for the people that guessed in, it's really hard because we're just, like I said, we're used to it. They come in and they're like, really, do you have to spray paint everything red? It really up my nose, and now we're on this set and it's piping hot and we're not allowed to run the air conditioner because it affects the sound. So now we're in a hot sound stage, which feels like you're in. I said it's really just sort of the keeping character. We keep it hot, sweaty. I've often said that hell is a show set in hell that never gets canceled. So
yeah, I will say the one good thing that came out of our show, I think, is that you're already ready for COVID because you can't touch your face when you have that red makeup on. So you've been preparing for years.
And if you ever read the ingredients on that makeup, the second ingredient is COVID.
Yeah. So you're immune.
First is like red dye number 4, which causes cancer, and then the second ingredient is COVID.
All your actors in the show are going to be mutants. You're going to usher us into the new age. You're going to be like glowing in the dark and have superpowers because of this makeup, I think.
Believe me, I think by like season 4, we didn't even need the makeup. We were all red. It had dyed our skin red. We also were getting so lazy I wouldn't even fully wash the makeup off. I'm like, I gotta be back here in like 8 hours. What? I'm gonna go home and I'm just gonna start leaving some of this shit on.
Then Shane can just do some touch-ups like on a house or something. Like, I just got to touch up here and there. You look great. Have you ever run into anybody outside the show and had forgotten to take off some of the makeup before, like, and had some weird reactions from people?
Yeah, Henry and I used to go, and Craig Rowan, who plays Claude, we used to the first 2 seasons for sure, because we'd be shooting all day and we were just always trying to make like last call at a bar somewhere, or just trying to get like a hamburger before we go to bed. So we would wrap it around 11 o'clock at night, like, God, we gotta go, let's go. And we would not really clean ourselves up. It'd be one thing to leave the makeup on and it would have an even look, and it would be like, oh, that guy's kind of weird, that guy's face is painted red, he must have just come from a Braves game or something. But no, this would look kind of like you've got the black eyeliner going, like you're crying at a wedding or a funeral. You've got all this red, then you've got the glue still kind of caked up here from the horns, and then the red makeup is sort of looks like blood dripping out of your ears. And we went a number of times. We'd go to a bar, a restaurant. We'd just like catch our breath, sit down, have our drink, and like we'd look over like, what are you looking at? Somebody'd be like, did you know your ear's bleeding? We'd stop and look at each other. We'd be like, we look horrific. We look scary. We look scarier now than we do on the show.
Now, was Sopranos your first television role, or had you done several things before that? As you can see, I've done my research.
You've got the index cards there.
Exactly.
Old Johnny Carson index cards. No, it was not my first role. My first role was on a short-lived drama called New York Undercover.
Oh, yes.
And I played like a drug dealer who gets chased down by the main guy. That was probably 95. Sopranos probably was 98. That was the first sort of consistent primetime show that I did. I'd done a lot of daytime before that, soap operas, and I was really bad. I had a lot of time to practice my craft because I did 6 years of theater training, came out with no camera experience, was thrown immediately in front of a 3-camera set for a soap opera called All My Children, shooting in New York. The beauty of soaps is you could be really bad and the audience didn't know the difference. Those audiences were just very forgiving because there were some really bad actors on our show, including myself. They're fans, they're very forgiving, they believe whatever you're doing in such that I love soap fans because they were a little crazy. I don't think anybody will ever do anything like this again. It's just too expensive. Every single day was a new episode. That's insane.
Well, I would think in that environment that just having a good memory trumps being a good actor at that point. Just being able to memorize your lines that quickly.
Oh, totally. And I would get on set. That's when you know it's time to go because you're just getting lazy. First year that I was on the show, I get my scripts a few days ahead. I'd be all memorized and make acting choices. And, by like a year and a half in, I'm like, maybe the night before, I'm, kind of doing a little college cramming thing, like pulling an all-nighter to memorize lines. By the time I left the show, I'd show up in the morning, like, what are we doing? What episode is this? Like, Hammy, give me a script. Pouring the coffee, haven't even looked at the script, have no idea what the lines are, and we're going to shoot in 3 hours. So I became incredibly good at just memorizing at the last minute. It just became a terrible habit because I wasn't even, and like you said, I wasn't even really making acting choices. My acting choice was try to remember your lines and not bump into the furniture. It made it look very real because the words were just coming out of my mouth, and it looked like
it was the first time. Yeah, the first time they were coming out.
Like it almost seems like he's never even looked at the lines before. Yeah, terrible habit. But as you said, it created some real good memorization skills.
I edit the show, and you were right earlier. You are an anchor, and I'm so thankful you're there because I'm like, God, I can always count on Servitto to be the anchor and the foundation of this scene.
Hey, Kate, could Satan get up from behind the desk? I'm like, no, Satan's gonna stay behind the desk.
Yeah, I can't. I'm always watching. I have to watch all the takes, and I'm always like, I can see you. You're like, no, can't do that because I didn't do it last time. Like you say it out loud. You're like, you keep everyone in check. You're like, you sure you want to be over there because you were there a second ago, and you're like being the continuity director. And I'm like, this is great. I love this guy.
I got a chance to direct an episode last season, and David Chris like, yeah, man, you're always the one like pointing out, directorially things that we should be doing. Why don't you direct it, Mr. Smarty Pants? And I said, guys, all I did was continuity. It's not like I was sitting there saying, I'd love to can we get a 50 lens right here? Can we get a 50 lighting over in this corner? It's like, no, I'm just like, as Dave used to say, oh, here comes Servitto and his logic. Logic is a crutch when you make an Adult Swim show. Yeah, I always, my first pass is always me trying to make it as logical and continuity driven as possible, and then they get in there and just rip it out. It's just like kids with a new toy, just ripping the hair out of dolls. Like, no, it doesn't matter if it makes sense. We're gonna make it funny. At the end of the day, that's a good philosophy. It's just got to be funny. But as an editor, I'm like, but also it's got to, because the sense has to be made. But okay, go ahead. You and I got a chance to edit my episode. Yes. Make the first pass at it, and I realized when I did it with you, it was great. And then Dave and Chris got their hands on it, sent me a cut a month or two later. And, the skeleton was still there, but like I thought, oh, they kind of did things out of order. It's not chronological. Like, I didn't know that I could just, as you said, throw logic and, linear narrative, like, completely out the window. And really, in the end, I actually liked their cut better. But as I said, I thought I had to kind of stay on a certain track. And I began to realize that's the kind of comedy and the kind of work that Dave and Chris have been doing for decades at Adult Swim, is that's kind of what they do. That's their trademark of, like, Your Pretty Face is set as a traditional sitcom, but the execution of it is where it differentiates. It's it's just obviously we kind of do whatever we want to do at any given moment because we don't have. It's hell, man. It's hell, and it's Adult Swim. We can really kind of do whatever we want.
I think that's great, and it's always a marvel to see what we end up with, and because it goes through. Those guys have the luxury of being in Atlanta, so we get to sit with it and watch it and make changes and adjustments all day long, which we do ad nauseum. But my small victories are as an editor, having it come back around to the way I had it the first time, which doesn't happen every time, but when it does, I'm just like, I did it. I did it right the first time, but it's 5 weeks later.
Whenever I do a play, there's always like this initial table read just when you're starting the rehearsal process, and it's excellent. Everybody's funny, and it's good, and everyone's excited, and within a week of rehearsal, you start to doubt it. Within 2 weeks, you're like, this is the worst piece of crap ever. Why are we bothering? By week 3, you're like, I want to quit. We should, and then all of a sudden, you start putting it on its feet. You get in the theater, and an audience comes in, and you go right back to that initial table read, and everything's funny again. Everything works. The actors are great. The writing's great, and I just feel like but the rehearsal process is the same thing with the editing. It's like, let's test it. Let's try different things.
Yeah.
All those initial instincts were correct, but now we just got to we have to test them. It's just like science. Like, we have this hypothesis. Let's check it. And you're like, well, why are we doing all these different tests? Just to prove that the good choices we made were right.
Yeah. Yeah. I try not to talk about the world as much as possible in these. I try to keep it light. But if there's any funny stories that maybe have come out of all of this.
I said the one thing about being an actor or being freelance is I spend a lot of time at home naturally anyways. So my wife and I have learned to hate each other's guts, and we're professionals at it.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends who work 9 to 5, they're new to this, like, I'm going to kill you thing. And I'm afraid for them. It takes a lot of, years of, I'm done with this, and you then take a deep breath or have a scotch or a cigarette and you come back.
Yeah.
So, like I said, this for once in my life, my skill set is exactly what is needed. I'm good at being idle. I'm good at doing nothing. I'm good at sitting still and being home, and so...
this old hat, you were just like, yeah, I've already been doing that, it's fine. I'll keep doing it, I guess.
What's this quarantine thing?
If a virus comes out that makes everyone have to get a day job, you're going to be screwed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if like a virus came out that was a nighttime, but like you can't work at night, I'm like, oh my God. What am I going to do? Like, I have to get up every morning, like when the sun comes up, and...
You're just be like, I just bury me, because it's going to kill me. Well, Matt, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day, it sounds like, to talk to me.
Listen, I put a shirt on, and to acknowledge I'm wearing pants.
Yes!
I mean,
you're bucking the trend.
This is not... I mean, you're in a suit. I mean, this is insane. This is the most business I've conducted in weeks, and it really is a silly business that we just did, but at least we dressed for it.
Exactly. We put clothes on, which is what not a lot of people are doing right now.
I'm gonna, I could probably make a fortune. I could sell Zoom makeup kits. Just a little makeup kit, like if you're gonna do Zoom with your friends or your family, just a little bit of base, a little bit of rouge, just make you look real good. I guarantee we'd sell 2 million little Zoom makeup kits.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for having me on, my friend. We only got to my soap stuff.
I know. We didn't
go into brotherhood. We didn't go into banshee. There's a lot to discuss.
And you've directed your own shorts and films and stuff.
I did, yeah. Just the directing thing continues. So, next time we'll chat a bit more about what I've learned, which could fill an index card.
Sounds like a plan, my friend. I look forward to it. All right, guys, we will be back right after this.
Yeah, Sam did a lot of it. Margaret, I used to drop nose hair burning ass bombs, but not anymore.
Not anymore? But how?
With these Glade Plugups.
Glade Plugups? What are those?
Damn it, Margaret. Calm the fuck down. Glade Plugups are the best solution for nasty-smelling flatulence. You just shove a Glade Plugup into your sphincter. Then the offending odor escaping your ass is transformed into an array of different aromas. There's Fruit Blast. There's After the Rain. And the one I'm using now, Poopery.
You're right. That does smell terrific. I think I have a new best friend.
Glade Plugups, a refreshing blast right out of your ass.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. This next segment is something I've been thinking about a lot, and I wanted to help you guys out with it. So we're calling this next bit Things to Think About and Conversation Starters for When, Not If, you start talking to yourself. Now, if you're single during this time, I have a feeling a lot of you may be reaching the solo discussion section of the quarantine, but don't freak out. I'm an only child, obviously. I've been talking to myself since I was little. Don't be afraid, you're not crazy. Well, not all of you. I'll help you get started. First of all, don't make it all about you. Get to know yourself. Ask yourself, what are your dreams? What are your wants and your desires? What's your 5-year plan? Make your one-way conversation a 2-way street. Use a mirror. A mirror can add that visual aspect that having a conversation requires. Don't be afraid of accents. Spice up your conversation with a funny voice or an accent. It worked for Norman Bates. Conversation starters. Here are a couple of good opening statements to get that talking ball rolling. Working on anything interesting lately? If Fight Club taught us anything, it's that our imagination is a fertile playground. And who knows what you've been up to in front of your own back? How do you know the host? This will really get the juices flowing. Do we really know ourselves? Also, this could very well suss out an alien parasite that may have been living in your brain this entire time. Always be vigilant. What's your biggest regret? I can't think of a better time than now to really start stabbing at those emotional scabs. They are ready to be ripped off and ooze their corrosive matter all over every waking thought. It's easy. Well, I hope this has opened up an exciting world of self-expression to you. You already play with yourself. Might as well talk to yourself as well. You know, good relationships are more than just sex. They're about connection as well. And surprise y'all, this ain't Nick at all. Oh, no, no, no. This is Anton from the Louisiana Bayou. I've been doing my Nick impression this whole time, y'all. Don't you know? Now, y'all stay safe out there. And remember, we'll be back after these messages. I'm Nick Gibbons, your temporary host of this show. What's this show, you're asking yourself? As seen on Adult Swim, it is the preeminent place on the internet to buy amazing Adult Swim stuff that you may or may not even realize you want. If you're a fan of Harvey Birdman, this is something you will not want to miss. It's a wonderful fashion accessory. It never goes out of style because it's never in style. If you love knives and cutting things, we have the perfect gift for you. Tonight's show will be pumpkin spiced. We're gonna give away 3 pairs of these tonight. All you gotta do is call me right now. I will destroy you.
This is Kim.
Kim or Tim?
Kim, K-I-M.
T-I-M, Tim?
Kim,
Are you saying kin?
K-I-M.
K-E-N,
Yes.
kin.
No.
Like the
Are you
kin-
messing with me?
Like the kin, I don't know, am I? Because the frisbees fly backwards in Australia. I nicked him. I get it? But get yourself a shirt. We have all the sizes you've come to know and love. S through up to XXL. Please tune in next week. We're back. Beautiful items that will look great in your home or office, or if you live in an alley. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Have I got a treat for you right now? That's right. I have a guest here who's gonna sing you a song, and it may just tickle your funny bone, or it may be a cover. I don't know. I haven't gotten the video yet, but I will soon, and then I'll put it in the show and put everything in the right order. It's all editing, guys. I don't know. It's magic how it all happens. Anyway, let's hear it for my next guest, everybody. Mr. Mike Schatz, everybody. Take it away, Mike.
Well, an old lover came knocking on my door. She said to me, baby, I can't wait no more. Next thing I know, we're sharing a cigarette lying on the floor. She was twice my age, and I'm 44. Yeah, I'm 44. She said, next time, lover, don't you hesitate. I said, the thing I love about you most, baby, is that you're never late. If you were Meals on Wheels, I could be your hot plate. She was 88. Oh, lovers, they're so easy to please, and they don't have good memories. Yeah, we're living on borrowed time, so why not mine, old lover? I saw an old lover walking down the street. I loved the way her hips moved as she shuffled her feet. She winked and said, hey baby, why don't you come with me? She was 93. 93. Oh, lover, you're never alone with your Guy Lombardo ringtone. I saw your face on a smucker's jar. Yeah, there you are, old lover. I saw an old lover lying in a bed. I could tell by the way she was breathing, these were her final breaths. She whispered, baby, take me to heaven just one time more. She was 104, 104. Oh, lover, one last kiss goodbye. Let me take you to the other side. We've been living on borrowed time, so why not mine, old lover?
Very nice, Mike. That was a good job. I'm assuming, like I said, I haven't got the video yet, but I am going to get it today at some point. Anyway, it won't matter. You'll never know because of editing and magic and how time works. Listen, guys, it has been great bringing you these late night lockdowns, but I don't know if this is good news or bad news, but I'm going to take a little break for a while from them. I'm sure you'll find something to do with your time. I certainly will. I have children. But these have been so much fun to do, a lot of work, and it's I just need to take a little break. We'll consider this the first season, so maybe I'll come back later with more of them. But I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope you do still share. They're very timely. There's nothing in them that dates them, so you could share them around. They'll always be funny. They'll always be great. Except for the comedy parts, because comedy doesn't age well, and I'm sure at some point everything I've said in this will be horribly offensive, and I'll get canceled, but as a person. But that's okay, I can live with that. By that point, I'll be so old that I won't even know what room I'm in, so it's not gonna matter. Anyway, I hope y'all stay safe out there. Seriously, stay indoors, socially distance, wash your hands. Don't listen to people telling you not to do those things. They are idiots and they do not have your best interest at heart. I do, because I love you and I want you to be safe and I want to get rid of this horrible blight on our history. So please be smart, be safe, and by all means share this with your friends, because sharing stuff like this with people keeps them indoors, and that's what we want to do. So love you guys, thanks again for watching, and please be safe. I can't say that enough because I want you to be safe out there. Love y'all. Bye. Thanks for watching. See you later at some point.